Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Van on the Loose. Made a video about what you should think about, what you should be asking when you go to a recruiter, and it kind of made me realize that I kind of skipped a video. So if you want to mash that subscribe button, we're going to be talking about things that you should answer for yourself when deciding to join the military. So when you're looking at joining the military, you're going to have to ask yourselves a few things before you ever even think about going to the recruiter's office. A big one is, why do I want to do this, and is it worth it? Are you a patriot? Do you love your country and that's why you want to serve? And in that case, that's a perfect way of doing it. Is it a revenue of you getting to a career or a degree that you're wanting? Because there are education benefits, there are job opportunities, there are job trainings that you may not be able to get otherwise if you don't have scholarships and things helping you pay for that at college. But if you are doing it for the school or for the job training, then you have to answer, is it worth it? Am I going to be willing to do whatever the military is asking me to do for 4 years or however long that contract's for just to get these benefits? If the answer is yes, then embrace the suck and truck on. If the answer is not really, then you may need to look for a different way of paying for that school. The military isn't for everybody. It's not always the best placement for you for whatever reason. My personality, I enjoyed the military. There were some times where I hated it and it sucked, and you just gotta have to deal with it and move on. But why are you wanting to join the military, and is it going to be worth it to you in the long run? Big question to answer. The second one is, can I be away from my family for a long period of time? When you're a younger person, if you get homesick easy, this may not be the career path for you. And if you have a family, like wife and kids at that point, or a husband, are you going to be able to be away from that family when you are required to? There are deployments, there are trainings, there are times where you're not going to be going home every night. And I was looking at re-enlisting this time last year. Didn't want to go back into like an infantry type job or anything like that, but my undergrad is in justice administration. I've done crime scene investigation, was a correctional officer, so I felt like I had a lot of things I could take over into like a military police type job. And I had interest from the Navy and the Army, and they were going to give me promotions above what I left the Marine Corps as. I was going to go to MP school, and they said you'll probably be pushed through all of the law enforcement type stuff except for the military law enforcement, because there's the UCMJ that goes on top of the regular laws. So while I may have been able to skip part of that training and everything, the Army recruiter was actually really cool, and he shot me up straight. He said, hey, we're going to have to give you an age waiver. Most branches, if not all the branches, are going to have to give you an age waiver because your time in service does take off years off your age, but at your age, you're going to end up having to still get an age waiver. So he said, just to be upfront with you, the second you're done with your training, you're probably going to get deployed. You're going to get activated. Because I was looking at a reserve capacity type job, but they said they're going to want their money out of you, so more than likely you're going to end up having to get activated. And while I don't personally have a problem getting activated, I did start thinking about the pre-deployment and the deployment time and everything. And at the time, the baby of the family just turned 1 year old. She's 2 now, but she had just turned 1. So I started thinking about it. A deployment's a year, so then she's 2. The training, depending upon how that takes, She may be 2.5, 3 years old before I ever get to see her again because of that deployment. And I love being a dad. I love, having my kids and watching them grow up and develop and everything. And that's a very key time in the child's life. So I didn't want to miss out on that stuff. Too many things are going to happen that I want to be there for. So for me, the reenlistment didn't happen because the answer for can I be away from my family was a no at this point. But when I was 18, 19 years old, I didn't have a family, and the answer was, yeah, I can be away from my family. That's no problem. So that's something you have to answer for yourself. The second part is, do I have the right temperament? Do I have the right attitude to go into this? I hear people say, oh, I would never let a drill instructor talk to me that way. Oh, I would never let some sergeant or somebody boss me around. And if that's you, the military isn't going to be for you. I have dealt with students who are in trouble all the time for their attitude. They go ISS and OSS and all kinds of, suspensions and things, always getting in trouble for their attitude, yet they're telling me they want to be in the military one day. That's not going to work. If you can't go in there and be a team player, follow directions and listen to that authority figure and do what they tell you, if you can't follow a police officer's instructions, whether they're right or wrong, but just following the instructions of somebody higher that is in a position of authority over you, you can't do that. The military isn't your career. That is not a job that you want to sign up for, because you will be in trouble on a regular basis if you have those attitude problems. I got in trouble one time in the military, and that one time I got in trouble really wasn't because of an attitude situation. Back when I was young and stupid and hadn't really been in for very long, I bought these chloroform boots thinking, hey, when I'm at garrison, I don't have to shine my boots. My boots I take to the field, they can just stay dirty and nasty because they're field boots. I thought it would be okay. Bought them, put them on, wore them to work one day, and I was told, hey, I don't want you wearing those. Okay. So I didn't wear them to work, but then I wore them to something else, and same sergeant saw me, said, I told you not to wear those. Now you're going to be in trouble. And it wasn't bad trouble. I didn't lose pay. I wasn't confined to the base or anything like that. But, the fact that he had to tell me twice was something that got written down and put in my file that I had there at that training. And it was something stupid. And I wasn't trying to be defiant, but if that's going to get me in just a little bit of trouble, an attitude, back-talking, telling people that what they are and are not going to do, how they are or are not going to treat you, you haven't earned a position yet. If you haven't been there but for a minute, almost everybody has authority over you. So if you're some E1, E2, E3, you're going to have everybody you run into in some type of position of authority over you, whether it's a corporal, a sergeant, a lieutenant. All those people have authority to tell you what to do, and if you can't deal with that, don't join the military. The other part is kind of goes along with the attitude part. If you want to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, the military is not for you. There's plenty of times where you want to go do something, but you can't. You don't have permission to. It's kind of like going back to being a child, because when you haven't gotten the rank and you haven't gotten those positions where you are the one in charge yet, everything is permission. I want to go home for the weekend. Well, if you're on a training schedule, if you're at a school, you may not be able to go home because you have to serve a post. You have to do something. If Liberty's coming up and you want to be able to go from Florida or from California all the way to Texas, that's going from the edge of the country to the middle of the country, they may tell you no because you don't have time to get there and back and be to work on time. If they tell you no, you can't do something, then it's no, you can't do something. Even if you're technically off work, you're not really off work. So if they tell you get up and go work out, if they tell you you're too fat and you've got to do extra PT, all of that stuff that you're going to have to deal with. So if you're one of these people who don't want to do what you're told, military is not for you. Also, that goes into, they do have a grooming standard. They do have a PT standard. So if you're fat, they're going to tell you you're fat, and they're going to give you a workout plan. If you show up late all the time, they're going to put you on some type of thing for being late all the time. If you're like me with this facial hair, this would not be acceptable 99% of the time, unless you have a shave. They call it a chit in the military, CHIT, but it's basically a permission because your face gets messed up when you shave. And there are some jobs where you do get to have some facial hair, but that's the exception, not the rule. Most of the time, you're shaving at least twice a day, or sometimes even 3 times a day, just so that you meet regs. They're going to tell you how to cut your hair, and they're going to tell you there's tattoo policies. So if you have no tattoos when you come in, and you think you can just go get a tattoo of whatever, however big, wherever you want it, that's not going to be the case, because if you have a tattoo on your face, you can't be in the military. Tattoos on your knuckles, unless you're grandfathered in, isn't going to be acceptable. I believe the current regs for tattoos in the Marine Corps is no more than 4. And they are all like specified on where you can have them, what you can have and what you can't have. So you lose a little bit of your freedoms and a little bit of your choice to join the military. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with, doing what you're told, because that's what you signed up for. It's not a job that you can quit. If you signed up for 4 years, you're locked into 4 years, and if they're letting you go before the 4 years, it's typically going to be for some type of trouble you got into. A bad discharge from the military can affect you in other careers, or it could be medical. So if you got out because medical, that's hey, no harm, no foul on his side, but he can't do our job. He can't do the job anymore, and we're going to let him out of his contract early. So, or her. So that is the exceptions to getting out early, but they're not just going to, hey, I'm tired of this. I don't like you. I don't like this, and I want out. They're going to laugh at you and tell you to get back to work. And that's just part of it. So you have to be willing to say, I signed up for 4, I got to do 4, bare minimum. And then when it comes time to re-enlist, you can say no or yes, and you can negotiate again at that time. But that's something you're going to have to deal with. The other side of it is when you want to be in the military and you're looking at going to the recruiter to sign up, you have to answer to yourself if you meet their requirements. The military is a job. It's not a right. So when you're going in there, if they tell you you're disqualified for whatever reason, you either need to convince them to give you a waiver because of how great you are and how good of an asset you're going to be, or you're going to have to take that and move on. They will disqualify you for medical reasons. They will disqualify you for police involvement. They will disqualify you for lack of education. So in the Marine Corps, you have to have a high school diploma or enough college to counteract whatever GED or dropout status you had as a high school student. So those are all things that you're going to have to answer for yourself before you ever even think about talking to a recruiter. If everything lines up and it's, yes, I'm willing to deal with it, yes, I'm willing to serve my time, I'm got the right attitude to where I'm not going to be getting in trouble for disrespect, I'm in shape enough, and I'm not disqualified for any reasons, and everything's good to go there, then go talk to a recruiter and use that last video that I did to help you understand some things you need to be asking or thinking about when walking into that recruiter's office. If this helped you out at all, give me a thumbs up. Definitely hit subscribe. I'm going to try and do some more videos to try and help y'all out, and I do reviews of different things also. So Thanks again for watching Van on the Loose, and we'll holler at you next time.